Hi guys, I wanted to do this video for you today on blue lotus flower and the symbolization of that and why they used it in Egypt and why it's so special. So blue lotus symbolizes creation and rebirth, which I find is really interesting. Right now, doTERRA is releasing a Blue Lotus pack for Mother's Day promotion, and I find it really interesting with everything that's going on in the world, that out of like nowhere, and nobody can source Blue Lotus oil, and it's been like quite restricted for many years, that it's now coming out in this creation and rebirth time, and with everything else that's going on in the world. So interesting timing. Blue Lotus, on a medicinal front, helps, relieve stress, stimulates the production of dopamine, helps with motor neuron function, like heaps of amazing things. But my question is why were the ancient Egyptians using it? What were the properties, the functions that have been suppressed over all these years, and why is the blue lotus flower that was so prevalent and so everywhere in Egypt? We know this because it's written on all the walls, everywhere you turn, the pillars, the thrones, the walls, the temples, the papyrus, everything that you see in Egypt has, pictures of this blue lotus flower. It's actually a water lily grown in ponds. And so my question is why is it everywhere in Egypt and now it's being suppressed? What aren't they telling us? What don't we know? And I did a little bit of research, and with what they used to use it for in Egypt, it works as a natural sedative, and their use for it was to connect with the divine. So we look at, even the color of it, it's called blue lotus. It's a blue, beautiful water lily flower. Blue represents communication. So connecting with the divine, communicating with the divine, these are the types of things that they used the blue lotus oil and flowers for back in the ancient Egyptian times, is to, once they're purified, once they're awakened and purified, and they're ascending through this process, we've got these different chakras. The base chakra is all about security, safety, groundedness. Then we move up into the orange, the sacral chakra, which is all about creativity and happiness and joy. And we move into the yellow, which is the solar plexus, which is willpower and creation. And then into the heart, which, Egypt, Meri, land, which means land of the heart, which I found a very heart-opening experience when I went to Egypt. Very beautiful. Definitely the land of the heart. And being in our heart space and being connected is the green of the heart. And then we move into the throat, which is communication, which is blue, right? So what if through this ascension process, Tyler talks about the triangle of earth, once we get through that, the triangle of heaven descends. So the triangle of earth is first the awakening, which I feel like with what's going on in the world now is happening for a lot of people. A lot of people are starting to wake up. And then once we already have started to wake up or had that awakening moment, then we need to move into purification, which is a perfect opportunity. I feel like the earth itself is purifying right now. People are stopping from going to work. There's a beautiful opportunity for us to actually, purify our own temple and purify our bigger temple and the earth at the same time. Stopping the pollution, all the fish are coming back into the canals, and all these beautiful things that you see on social media of the earth regenerating. So it's like this purification, and then once we're purified, then we can start to activate and ascend this triangle upwards so that the heavenly triangle can descend down. And what if, we can have heaven on earth? What if, once we're activated and we're ascending through our chakras and through these processes, then we can have heaven on earth, and every day in life can be like heaven. So it's interesting that the blue lotus flower is blue, and it represents that divine connection and communication. It's just really interesting for me. And what if this is another tool to help us But I do believe to use things like this, we need to be purified, we need to be clean, because it is, it would enhance the things that are already inside. And if we've got darkness and plaque and all the dirtiness, then it's going to enhance that. And then, this is why people have potentially negative effects when they try things like, blue lotus flower or different types of medicinal herbs and things like that. So back in ancient Egypt times, they used to have special ceremonies where they would use the blue lotus flower. They would steep it in wine for several weeks, and it acts as like a natural sedative and also nullifies the effect of the actual alcohol. So it's like perfect. Maybe they had these special ceremonies where they were connecting with the divine. Egypt was the cleanest race back in their times, and there was no other race cleaner than them. So they were purified already. They were using this blue lotus flower. Maybe that's how they were connecting with the divine, and they had these special ceremonies. So what if we can connect with the divine? What if we can go through this ascension process and use these tools to actually connect to a higher consciousness? Blue lotus flower used to be, like I said, super prevalent all around Egypt, but now it's actually only on one small farm in Com Obo. So doTERRA has done a lot of work, obviously, to create these relationships with the right people. It's been strictly prohibited to export blue lotus oil and flowers out of Egypt, and now the restriction stands at 1 litre per person they can bring out at a time. So as you know, me saying all of that, 1 litre per person, it is quite precious. And because of doTERRA's co-impact sourcing, they're not going to deplete all of the source at once. So it will only be available for a limit of time. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. If I don't know the answer, I've got an amazing upline in doTERRA who are just so good at helping me. I'm new to the whole thing as well, but we've got an amazing support group and that amazing stuff that can come from helping each other. And, I wanted to share this specifically in our Egypt group because of the Blue Lotus and the relationship with ancient Egypt. So let me know if you've got any questions, and I'll talk to you guys soon.